Right. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the 33rd meeting of the Baltimore County Administrative Charting Committee. We're meeting here today in the historic courthouse in room 118 and by WebEx. The first item on our agenda is a roll call. I'll begin. I'm Christopher Suey,
Sharon Connect.
Joan Harris.
Dawn DeShawn Fewer.
and we have quorum. The next item on our agenda is a review and approval of the August 1st, 2025 meeting minutes. Can I have a motion?
Move to adopt the minutes from the last meeting.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It is approved. And the next item on our agenda is new business. First, we have a presentation by Major Richard Hearn and Captain Jeffrey Shanks from the Baltimore County Police Department's Internal Affairs Division.
Thank you. Just real quick, I'll introduce myself. I am Major Rick Hearn. I'm the new Commander of Internal Affairs. So a little history. I spent the last 2 years as a major in the Operations Bureau. I was Assistant Bureau Chief for Operations. So I helped Colonel Kelly do everything 24/7. I had my phone rang nonstop. Doesn't anymore. I was Captain Turtle when the Key Bridge went down. Over my career, I have 23 years on. Most has been investigations. I spent 8 years in narcotics, robbery, financial crimes, criminal intelligence, and homeland security. I was a captain in Chief Hyde's office when the PAB and ACC state got started. So you may, mostly PAB, may recognize my name. So I helped organize with, I worked with Henry to organize the ride-alongs you had to do when you first started and the Citizens Academy.
Yeah.
So I helped him with that when I was in that office. So I worked with, I know Henry very well from my time. I'm excited to be here. There's been nothing, I've had nothing but good feedback between our partnership and your partnership. I think Major Berman did a great job working, getting our department on board. I think, I speak for our department, some anxiety of having this civilian review has dissipated. I think that has been going well. I think we're hearing a lot less concern over it. My transition has been good. Lawrence, I know I worked with Lauren on several things the last couple of years, so I know very well coming in, that helped. But I'm excited to work with you guys. If you need anything at all, let me know. We have a new building, which we love. We walked here today. So if you need me to run here and answer a question, I'd be happy to do it.
Great.
Email me anytime, 24/7. I'm used to be waking up. I'm used to 24/7. So, but if you'll indulge us, I think Captain has a very quick presentation he wants to do for you, and let you get back. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I know you said Jeffrey Shanks. I got my middle name Brian, so please, Brian, anytime. Like Rick said, if you guys have any questions 24/7, please feel free to reach out to either one of us. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. And he's not lying. We love our new office. You're a block away. We will gladly walk here, stop at every Starbucks that you need. We will bring frappuccinos and lattes or whatever cold brew you all want. So we were asked to give a quick presentation. Oh. No, you're fine. Sure. Asked to give a quick presentation on how internal affairs, police internal affairs, discerns between an inaccuracy of report and a misrepresentation of fact charges. The first thing, which is not on the slides, but the first thing you need to know, with the new state disciplinary matrix, we interpret an inaccuracy of report under a category B. When you read the fine print at the very top where it's in red, it says anything that brings discredit upon the agency or creates distrust of the public. That's where we find it. And I'll get more into detail what the accuracy is. Misrepresentation of fact, we need to see more seriously. When we look at the state disciplinary matrix, that would be under category B. So that's a termination case. So generally, inaccuracy report is like a simple mistake. It's an error. There are a couple slides here where there's a lot of examples. I'm not going to insult you and read them. I already told Kelly, I will give her a copy of this PowerPoint that if you all can email it to everyone on the board, you can print it out, save it for future posterity. Just don't share it outside of here. Because again, it's our interpretation. We're not telling you how to interpret it, we're just telling you how we interpret it. But it's a simple mistake. Reliance on a template. When we say template, our officers, when they write a report, if they write a theft report, and let's just say there's some kind of evidence, they may say all evidence collected and packaged per departmental policy. That's a canned line that's on the bottom of the report. So they take a report, there is no evidence, but that line is still there because they forgot to delete it. That's what we were saying as a template, and we consider that just a report. Misunderstanding from a victim or witness. Somebody calls 911, says that the suspect was driving a red car. I come out, I speak to a witness, and they said, it was your green car. I took up the report and I'm thinking, oh boy, was it red or green? I can't remember what they said. I think the witness said green because that's what was in 911. They forget that the witness actually said red. I know it sounds like a simple mistake, but trust me, that stuff does happen. We're human. We're not robots. We make mistakes. Then information provided by another officer. So if an officer got the mistaken information or is confusing two witness statements. So misrepresentation of fact is the complete opposite. It's intentional. It's trying to hide a fact. It's trying to be lazy, trying to hide an error. So I know that there was evidence. I know that there was a hammer left on the ground for destruction of property, but I don't feel like packaging it. I don't want to go through everything. So I just write no evidence available on the scene. But yet body worn camera shows the hammer sitting right there. We can prove. So if you go to the next slide, Kelly. So it's simple. The most simplest way to put it is inaccuracy of report is a mistake. And it's we look at that as a category B. Misrepresentation of fact is a bold-faced lie. It's used to hide something. It's used to be lazy. It's used to get away with something that maybe the officer shouldn't have gotten away with. Again, inaccuracy of report we view as a B-tip violation. Misrepresentation of fact is an F. Differences. First occurrence of inaccuracy of report, we would recommend a written reprimand. Misrepresentation of fact, bold-faced lie, we would recommend termination. Next slide. Look at, sorry.
Yeah.
So why it matters to us, testimony. When we send our officers into court, their integrity is everything. We send someone into court and they have a misrepresentation of fact charge, and for some reason they weren't terminated. We have to disclose that to the state's attorney's office. They have to disclose that to the defense attorney. That gets brought up in court. And anything that officer testifies to is going to be questioned. Obviously, any good defense attorney worth their weight in salt is going to bring that up. So their testimony is junk. Then they get to us. So that's why that matters. Inaccuracy of report. We're not saying that the officer did a bold-faced lie. We're saying they did a mistake. So that's the reason why these two charges matter for us in our office. Before I label someone as a liar, I want to make sure I'm factual, accurate. We have done our due diligence as investigators in internal affairs to say that, hey, I know this officer purposely lied, intentionally tried to hide something, knew what they were doing, and I can prove they knew what they were doing to get out of doing something. The inaccuracy of report is a simple mistake. I do not want to label somebody, ruin someone's career, take away their livelihood, and label them a liar. They just make a simple mistake, is leaving a line or a template or getting a color wrong or getting a name wrong, something like that. So this is just going to go, I'll be honest with you, I told a couple of folks earlier, Dan Sager, our administrative sergeant, put this together. Dan is very thorough and very diligent. So there's about 13 slides of examples, about different slides and different examples of what we mean. I'm not going to start reading all this. I think you have a lot of work to do. If you go to the next slide for me, please. So this is the example I'm talking about. You will see this repeatedly. If you, I know we put copies of our reports in the reports of investigation, the ROIs. You'll see that all evidence collected per departmental policy, all witness statements collected per departmental policy. Domestic violence case, you'll see lethality assessment completed. Let's just say the officer forgot to do one. Well, they just pulled up the domestic violence report they wrote 2 weeks ago and changed the dates, the names, the circumstances, but they leave the canned stuff in there, but they forget it. They forgot to do the lethality assessment. That's another example. There are routine things that we do that could be taken as that. The next slide is going to be about misrepresentation. I'll publicize that later. Before we read them, the misrepresentation of fact would be, I know I didn't do it. I can prove because of body worn camera. I'm talking to Kelly. Sorry, Kelly, I didn't you. I'm talking to Kelly. We're both officers on the scene. It's the end of the shift. I'm not doing the lethality assessment. That's going to take too long. I'm not asking all the questions. What if the lady screens in? Now I got to take her to somewhere else. I got to be out of here in 15 minutes. I'm just going to put admitted in there. Well, I just admitted that I know I'm not doing it. That's a misrepresentation. That's a bold-faced lie. I know that I'm doing it wrong. That would charge with the F. If it's the report, I submit it and I just forgot to do it, or we can find other circumstances to justify that the officer meant to do it, forgot to do it, that would then go to the inaccuracy. I don't know what slide this is, but that was a hit run example where we're going into the different colors of bars. We're not going to cover that. Do one more. So, misrepresentation, facts in the report, other than investigative things, if I tell the sergeant, sergeant asked me where I was, and I tell them I was on my post where I'm supposed to be, but, and the sergeant can check what we call our ABLs. It's like a locator, and he or she can prove that I was in another part of the precinct, or in another precinct, or out of jurisdiction. That's something else. So it's not just investigative, it can also be administrative. It can be reporting for duty. Hey, I said I came, excuse me, at 7 a.m., but really I snuck in at 7:30 and I didn't tell you. And then I turned in an overtime slip and said I worked from 7 to 3, and then I worked from 3 to 4:30 for overtime. That would be a misrepresentation of fact. We can prove that I didn't come to work till 7:30, but I'm putting on official paperwork, trying to get paid, compensated for overtime that I didn't work, because I only worked 7.5 hours on regular time. So then that hour and a half of overtime I'm putting in for, then actually work an hour and a half of overtime. So that would look as a misrepresentation of fact, not just an accuracy. Somebody could make an argument though, let's just say they have an overtime slip that's already filled in. They know that they're always a permanent postcard that always works 7 to 3. Again, we're going to do our due diligence, and the very last slide explains that. We send something to this committee saying that it's a misrepresentation of fact, and we say we recommend the officer is guilty of the accusation. It means we, internal affairs, have done our due diligence. We've dotted the i's, we've crossed the t's, we've asked the questions, and we, as fellow police officers, believe this officer lied in a bold-faced lie, and that we are recommending termination. That's pretty big for us, because not just not being able to testify in court, but we know that the state disciplinary matrix recommends termination for that. So we also know not only we're recommending that this officer be labeled a liar, they were going to potentially lose their job, they're going to lose their livelihood, they're going to lose their pension, they're never going to be able to be employed as a law enforcement officer anywhere in the state of Maryland again. That's a big deal to us. Taking someone's livelihood is a big deal. It's worse than punishing with a loss of a couple of days, reprimanding their job. This is a big deal. So we recommend that. We've done our due diligence, and that's what we're recommending. Not trying to say you have to agree with us. You all do what you want to do, but that's what we're saying when we send that over. The inaccuracy report is, we believe it's a mistake. Maybe a boneheaded mistake, maybe a new person mistake. It's a learning point. We can get over it. The officer's redeemable. It's not a lie. It's just a laziness, faultiness, a new person mistake. They don't know what they're doing. So the key point, this is, I was just hammering home, that if we say something is a misrepresentation of fact, it's pretty serious. If it's an inaccuracy report, it's a mistake. It's a lot of slides to explain something very simple. In the middle there, what I skipped over are a lot of examples. I'm not going to you guys to know those, but I know we have a hit run example, we have a theft report example, there's a overtime example. You all use them as you wish. Kelly, if I will know those to you.
I already got a copy.
You already got a copy?
Yep, I saved it.
That's also my flash drive for when I was in grad school, so.
I'm
Big
ready.
thing. And don't think I'm a creeper, there's a lot of, I have a degree in forensic psychology.
Oh, I just said.
No, there's a big, like, I already seen something about serial killers and.
Now we really. I
have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, when you all create reports of investigation, obviously we see them
Yep.
when we review the cases. Does the officer ever see that?
They can, but they have to get permission from the head of the criminal affairs to review them. Not everyone does, especially if you say that they're exonerated, unfounded, no one ever asks. It's always the one where we say that they're sustained. They would never be able to see. Their commanders are notified by the major to come up and review to know why we're saying somebody was sustained. They always come up, the officer, it depends on the person, the personality. I mean, again, we're human.
Right. So generally then do officers where misconduct has been recommended and do they generally see that report of
They will,
investigation? They get approved to see it?
Yeah, especially for the charge of misrepresentation of fact, termination, to be honest, they're gonna select a trial board. And we have to give a copy to them and their attorney.
So so let's say a case comes up and IA recommends misconduct charges. I mean, let's just say it's misrepresentation. It's bad.
Yeah.
Right? You recommend termination. we review it, we agree with you, we recommend that there be charges and that there's termination sanction. Then it gets appealed. So it goes to the trial board, they find no misconduct. Right. So now you have somewhere out there, you've got a report investigation that says you lied. We believe you lied. Somebody else also believed you lied, but there it is. So so this report of investigation just sort of sits out there, but it can't be a part of a personnel file, right? It can't be a part of anything. I mean, it has
It's disposable now, after 2023, it is disposable.
So then, in a situation where IA has said, you've misrepresented facts, and obviously it has to do with, testimony, right? I mean,
Yes.
Now that you're going to be placed under oath,
Yes.
I mean, how do we resolve that? So that officer now is going to have to testify about facts.
Yep.
That'll go toward his credibility. I mean, if it's something
I'll
that
go with the
is,
state's attorney.
the old discoverable, like from a legal sense, it's discoverable. So if it is something that can be out there, then can that person then, I guess, can be cross-examined with that report of investigation and internal affairs section.
Yes.
Yes, they could.
Yes.
Great thing from my command staff, like the major generals and chiefs office, we get to be in, fortunately have veterans. We sit down and talk about what's best for the department. It's not best for them to go back out to a patrol unit. Find himself being testified. Maybe there's another department that should work with, most likely not. Make that decision, most on a case by case basis, because you're not all the same. Sure. Some worse than others. So most of the time, we find a non-line function. Where we the police officer who's most likely not going to be called.
Yeah, okay. I was just trying to think that down the road.
As we said, I mean, it's happened. We have folks that fit that
Yep.
to the T.
What's
We-
it fine, it does, yes, and fine.
We don't like it, but we don't like to stand on it. The administrative law judge and the trial board,
Right.
consider all of us
Okay.
stuck.
Anybody else have questions? Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it coming out.
Anyone has any other questions about this or anything arises, please feel free to email us, like how we know, email us. And please feel free to share that. Like I said, there's a lot of examples in there.
Yeah.
Use them as you wish. Some of them mention other cases you may have seen. Obviously, we're very generic about it. It's got names and CC numbers and locations and things like that. But the meat and potatoes of what the circumstances are in some of these examples. It's just. My flag drive, swear there should not be any.
I am the same document, I swear. I swear. Anything else, I'll.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Good stuff. Oh, to be honest.
And just for the record, Tamisha Peterson is here now. And the next item on our agenda is a review of investigatory files for which we will need to be in closed session. Can I have a motion?
Yes, motion to enter closed session, that the Baltimore County ACC meet in closed session to review investigatory files in compliance with Maryland Code Public Safety, Section 3-104H, and to discuss investigations pertaining to actual or possible misconduct. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It is unanimous and we are in closed session.
Realized you may not have gotten a copy of that. So I made that.
All right, we are back in open session. The only item left on our agenda is to adjourn. And just for reminder for anyone here and who may be on WebEx, the next meeting will be October 3rd, 2025 at 12 p.m. here in room 118 of the Baltimore County Historic Courthouse and by WebEx. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
The motion, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the Baltimore County Police, the Administrative Charging Committee meeting until October 3, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we are adjourned.
Yay.